Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a brand new 2025 Ram 2500 and we've installed the M&R reverse light kit. It offers powerful white light as well as backlighting feature in either red or amber. So first let's review what you get with the M&R kit. You get 2 light pods, 2 cradles, 2 mounting brackets. These are going to come black powder coated. These are just prototype brackets. You get all the mounting hardware. So the bolts that we're going to use can be either one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just a matter of preference of where you want your lights to sit. We're going to use the supplied brackets in order to offset it and connect our U-cradle. So let's get these installed first. On the bracket, there's an arrow pointing up that will give you the orientation of how the bracket needs to sit. There is no left or right. These are completely identical brackets. We're going to slide our brackets on that stud, having the arrow facing up. And we're going to reinstall that nut that we just removed. So this is the bracket installed. Once again, there's an arrow pointing up to let you know the orientation of it. So now we're going to install the U-cradle onto the main bracket. So the U-cradle, you can see the shape. There's tabs facing one way. So this is going to be facing backwards, which is the front of the light. So I'm going to use a supplied nut and bolt in order to secure the U-cradle to the mount. So now this is a 13mm wrench. You'll need 2 of them in order to tighten this bolt. Perfect. So now we can install the light onto the U-cradle. Now we're going to grab our pod, aim it backwards, and we're going to attach it using the supplied hardware to the U-cradle. So there's 1 bolt on each side, and we're going to use the Allen bolt in order to secure the light to the U-cradle. Let me just tighten it. Alright, perfect. Now we can do the same thing on the opposite side. Alright, so now the same thing on the driver's side. We're going to remove this 10mm nut. We're going to install the M&R bracket with the arrow facing up. And we're going to reinstall the same nut. Get it nice and tight. We're going to install the U-cradle with the tabs pointing towards the back. Use the supplied hardware to secure it. And we're going to secure the light. Perfect. Now let's go over the wiring. So each pod has 3 wires connected to it. There's a red wire, which is the power to the main function of the light, which will be the powerful white light. There is a black wire, which is the ground, and there's a white wire for the DRL, daytime running light, which is just a backglow to it. It can be purchased in either red or amber. For today's install, we chose red. So what we're going to do, we're going to fuse both of these lights together. And the way we fuse it is just by matching colors. So we're going to fuse the 2 reds, we're going to fuse the 2 whites, and we're going to fuse the 2 black wires. I'm going to put a crimp connector on here. Same thing on the white wires. So the black wire is the ground. I made a little grounding strap just to elongate it. A grounding strap consists of a piece of wire, a crimp connector that goes onto the black wire, and then an eyelid that we're going to ground on the back of the bumper, which is the chassis of the vehicle. So I'm connecting the grounding strap to the 2 black wires that we fused together. And once we run the power source all the way to the back, I'll do the ground last. So now that the wires are fused together, now we have to extend it to a power source. So we sourced some wire on Amazon, which is not included in the kit. You're going to have to source this separately. It's a 14 gauge, 2 strands, which will provide us 2 power sources, 1 for the white light, 1 for the daytime running lights. So typically when extending wires, I like to work my way from the front of the vehicle backwards, and I'll show you exactly why. It's easier going down the fender when dragging the wire as opposed to going up. So now we're in the engine bay and I got my roll of wire. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to route the wiring down the fender and going towards the back of the vehicle. So I'm going to feed my wire down this fender so that way it goes towards the corner, and I'll be able to go under and get it from underneath. Now, there's an opening on the outside, and we're just trying to guide the wire towards the bottom. So I put my wire down the fender. It's really hard to get it from the bottom because of this thick plastic. So what I'm gonna take these bolts out. And here's the wire that I needed to thread going down. So this is going to help me. So now I got it on the bottom. I'll button this up a little bit later after we pass through the wire. I don't want to do it now because it's going to sandwich my wire and it's going to be harder to pull on it. So I'd rather have it loose, and then we'll end up putting this back together at the end. So now we're going to pull enough wire to get to the back. I'll show you how I'm routing it. So we'll need probably this much. So now that we have our wire here, I'm going to go ahead and extend it towards the back. And I'm going to try to bypass any sharp edges or any pinch points or any hot surfaces like the exhaust. So let me show you how I'm going to route it. Alright, so now we're underneath and I'm going to show you how to route this wire. A good tip, have some safety glasses. There's a bunch of mud here and debris, and it's going to go in your face as you're dragging the wire. So I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to go underneath all the harnesses. So there's a cable here, we can go under it. I'm taking it towards the back now, and then we're going to come back and secure everything with zip ties. I'm going to go in between the body mount and the cab, and we're working our way backwards. Alright, so now we're going to go on top of the second body mount and feed our wire through it. And we're going to hop over this frame on the inside. So we're going to go around. And now we're on the inside of the rail as opposed to the outside. And we're continuing to pass it through. So now we have to hop over to the rear axle and the springs. So there's a cross member here. I'm going to go over it. Pull the slack. So now that we hopped over the cross member of the truck bed, we're going to feed our wire through the bump stop bracket. And that's going to avoid the spring. You don't want to have your wire get pinched anywhere around the spring. And let me hop over to the back. Where is it? Here. So we're going to go on top of this brace. And then we're going to go around this wiring harness. We're going to use that for zip tie. We're getting closer and closer to our lights. So now I'm going to go on top of the last cross member here. And we're going to go straight down. And now we're going to zip tie to these harnesses. And we got our power wire close to our lights. So now we have our power wire towards the back next to the light. I'm going to go ahead and strip it, and we're going to make the connection. So we're going to go red to red. So red is going to be our powerful white light. And then unfortunately I wasn't able to source a wire that was red and white. I got red and black. So we're going to go ahead and transition from the white wire to the black wire. So we'll know on the front of the vehicle the black wire is going to be actually the DRL, and the red wire remains the red wire. So here everything's crimped. Let's go ahead and ground it in the back, and then we'll provide power for the whole system. So I'm going to use this bolt to ground our light. I'm going to remove this 10mm nut. I'm going to put the eyelet on it, and I'm going to reinstall it. So now that the wire is grounded, let's go back to the engine bay and provide power for the main two power wires. So now we're in the engine bay, and this is why I mentioned in the beginning that I like to route things from the beginning, because now I know exactly how much length of wire I need, and I can cut it off here. Another thing I want to mention, I'm going to actually pass this wire through this rail from the underneath, so that way it doesn't interfere with the hood coming down. and having a potential pinch point. So I'm going to feed through, there's an opening here, and now our wire's on the inside. So now that you have the wire in the engine bay, now we have to provide power for it. If your vehicle came with factory auxiliary switches, you can use 2 switches and provide 2 powers, one for the powerful white light, one for the DRL. If your vehicle does not come with auxiliary switches, such as the one we're working on today, you got to find power elsewhere, such as the M&R wireless wiring harness. Let me show you how to assemble it. You get your stickers for the wireless remote. There's a remote, there's the actual controller, a magnetic pad for the remote. You use the 3M tape to put this pad in somewhere inside the cab, and then it'll just stick and then create a base for the remote. You get some mounting zip ties, and we get a bag of hardware. You get a master fuse, and this is 100 amp. You get a fuse holder, and when you take the cover off, that's where we're gonna connect the master power wire. So let's go ahead and connect the fuse. I'm gonna go ahead and unscrew these 2 bolts. Take off the top washer. I'm gonna go ahead and slide the fuse here. And we're gonna also connect the 2 terminals. So inside the baggie you get 2 red wires. This is gonna be our power wires. You get a ground wire. Also get an ACC wire. It's an optional feature. We're actually not gonna use this ACC wire for this project because the fuse size is different, so we're gonna put it away. So now that we're installing the master fuse for the fuse box, we're gonna go ahead and connect the 2 power wires, one on each side. We're gonna use the washer and the nut that we previously removed. On the second end, we do the same thing. We're gonna connect the terminal. We're gonna put a washer, a lock washer, and a nut. One end inside the box, one end to the battery, and there's a fuse in the middle. So let me show you how to connect this wire into this box. Let's go ahead and take off the 4 bolts. And if you look inside, there's a battery plus and a battery minus tag. So the red wire is gonna go to the battery plus. We're gonna unscrew this. I'm gonna slide the terminal underneath it like that, and we can tighten it. Now that the positive is ready, we're gonna do the same thing for the ground. It's a small terminal here. So now we have this unit assembled, and we can connect it to the battery of the truck. So now that we're in the engine bay and we've assembled the M&R wireless controller, let's connect it to the battery. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this protective cap. So now we're gonna connect the positive terminal. You can use any of these contacts, everything's 12 volts. I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna loosen this nut. I'm gonna slide our terminal underneath it, and I'm gonna tighten it. All right, so that's gonna be our power. And then we have a ground terminal. We can use this ground on the negative of the battery. Slide my wire underneath it and tighten it. One thing you want to notice, there's a green light that lit up in the corner of the module. It shows you that it has proper power and ground. We're going to use channel number 2 and 6 for the reverse light kit. So channel number 2 is going to be our white light. So we're going to go ahead and loosen the terminal, slide a wire through it, and we're going to tighten it. So that's going to provide power to the white light. And number 6, we're going to use that for the backlighting option. Perfect. Let's go ahead and test it. All right, so let's see how it works. Switch number 2, that's going to be our powerful white light. And then switch number 6, this is going to be our backlighting in red. Now don't forget to throw zip ties on that wire, as well as putting heat on those heat shrink connectors, so that way they become waterproof. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got the confidence that you need in order to install this kit yourself. I know you guys are going to absolutely love it.